There's a great deal of discussion as to the specific year in which Jesus died. It's fraternal, it's intramural. There's nothing in terms of fidelity to the inerrancy of Scripture or anything like that that's at stake. Basically, and this is a bit of an oversimplification, but it comes down to this. We can discern quite narrowly that Pilate was prefect in Judea Samaria from 26 to 36, so that's our window. Now, the next question becomes, on what day did Passover fall in the year Jesus died? In the minds of most, it fell on Thursday, Friday. Started at sundown on Thursday, went through sundown on Friday. So now, and of course that has to happen on Nisan 14. And so now, and you have to factor in the fact that the first day of the month there was a fudge factor, whether or not they saw the moon on the first night and so on. But given all of that, when you do the computation, most scholars will agree that it drives you to one of two conclusions. That is 30 or 33. That is, in the window of 26 to 36 AD, looking for a year in which Nisan 14 could have occurred on a Thursday. And it narrows it down fairly much to 30 or 33. Now, at that point, the argument becomes quite technical. And it has to do with Luke's computations, his reference to Tiberius and the year of his reign and so on. And there's a huge discussion as to exactly when Tiberius and was there a co-regency. So it becomes, quite frankly, very, very difficult. I would recommend that anyone who is interested in that issue, one of the very important elements of that issue, in my mind, is the fact that we do have a certain dissonance between the extra-biblical record of who Pilate was or what kind of man Pilate was and the biblical record. And we have a very, very helpful explanation of that if you go with a 33 AD date of Jesus' crucifixion. I don't think that should be the animating reason, but I do think it should at least be a contributing factor. Pilate was more or less put in power by a man by the name of Sejanus, who was a very, very influential man in Rome. And Sejanus was convicted of treason in 31 AD and executed. And once he was executed, that left Pilate without a protector in Rome. And therefore, it really goes a long way to explain a lot of the dynamics of the Passion narrative to understand that whereas before Pilate, because he was protected by his friend and sponsor Sejanus back there in Rome, and that would be the case in 30 AD because Sejanus was at the height of his power at that time. By 33 AD, Pilate was without a protector. Sejanus had been dead. So I'm not saying that that's the strongest argument. Well, it may be one of the stronger, but it's certainly not the only argument. But I want to say once again that there are, and there have been those who have argued for 29. That was popular for a long time. Some chronological fine-tuning has made that less tenable and so on. So with regard to almost every one of the questions, the chronological questions, in what year was he born? Was it 4 or 1? In what year did he begin his ministry, of course? Was it 26 or 29? There is a case to be built on both places. I'm persuaded of 33, and it's within that construct that I teach the life of Jesus, but certainly it's entirely an intramural discussion.